Your father is not coming back. Robo's voice trembled, but she kept her eyes on the wall, not on their faces. He made his decision, but we will make ours, and ours will be strength. She reached for their small hands, still sticky with bread, and held them tight like roots clinging to earth before a storm. We don't have much, but we have each other, and that will be enough to rise. Her daughters, Ladi, 9, and Asabe, 6, froze, their small hands wrapped around half-eaten pieces of bread. Outside, the Hamatan season had given way to an early morning storm, and inside their small room in Kaduna, something even heavier had shifted. There was no letter, no proper goodbye, just the silence of 3 months without calls and the whispers from neighbors about Haruna and a second wife in Lagos. Robo wiped her hands on her faded wrapper, turning away so her daughters wouldn't see her tears falling. Her strength wasn't in the absence of tears, it was in the learning when to cry in private. By 4:30 a.m., Robo was up. The coal stove hissed as she lit it in the darkness. The only sound beside the low hum of cricket outside, she braided Laddie's hair in the half-light while stirring pap with her other hand. Don't forget to collect Asabe after school, she reminded Laddie. The girl nodded sleepily, resting her head against her mother's side. Every naira mattered. Robo worked at the hospital laundry long hours, chemical burns on her hands, but she was proud. Proud that no one could say she begged. Proud that her daughters wore clean uniforms even when their soles of their shoes flapped with wear. Sometimes, when her hand ached from handling or washing all day, she did remember when Haruna promised her a life of ease after the wedding. You will never have to suffer, he said. She smiled bitterly. Now, rain doesn't take permission before it falls. Robo stood at the back of the classroom, flanked by mothers with soft pants and cleaner clothes. The teacher, a middle-aged woman with kind heart, called her aside after the meeting. Laddie is brilliant, she said. She should be in a better school. Robo exhaled slowly. Better meant expensive. She walked home that evening in silence, the market noise washing over her. Children ran past her with puff-puff in oily paper. She passed them, not looking. At home, she sat her girls down and said, if one of you is going to fly, the other must help push. Ladi looked at Asabe. I'll go to the school, she said. Asabe can take my chores. Asabe nodded solemnly, her small hand finding her mother's. They were children, but children born of a woman made of fire. The sewing machine came from a cousin in Zaria. Old, but it worked. At night after laundry, Robo stitched uniforms and baby clothes by candlelight. She no longer watched TV. She no longer visited friends. Her world had narrowed down to fabric, thread, and the sound of her daughters breathing in their sleep. On weekends, they sold chin-chin and buns at the market. Ladi, now 10, had a way of charming customers. Only 10 naira, auntie. I swear it will sweet your mouth. Robo pretended not to hear when the men at the hospital laughed and said, your husband saw the future, and ran. Let them talk. They didn't see Ladi win a statewide essay competition. They didn't see Asabe helping her mother learn to read English better. 15 years had passed. Robo stood at the airport's gates, wrapper tied neatly around her, clutched hands tightly holding a plastic bag containing granules and dried fish. She had declined the hotel room Ladi booked for her. "Who will water my plants?" she said. Ladi appeared, wheeling a suitcase, her ID badge hanging from her neck. Ladi Haruna, pediatric resident, Jethro Children's Hospital. She knelt right there in the arrivals, in front of the whole world. "Mama, we made it." Asabe arrived a moment later, now a journalist for a local radio television station. Phone glued to her ear, she saw her mother, burst into a grin and ran forward. Robo's eyes burned as she pulled both daughters into her arms, not from sadness, from the kind of pride that makes a woman stand taller than her pain. That night, Robo sat on the veranda, sipping her tea slowly. The moonlight was soft. Ladi had made her favorite okra soup. Asabe had massaged her feet. "You raised us with nothing," Ladi whispered. Robo shook her head, smiling. "No, I raised you with everything I had." The rain came again that night, but this time it was welcome.